Hello and welcome to another edition of the Kushmerek Connection. As always, hosted from the FATV studios in downtown Fitchburg. Thank you to them and their team. And joining me this month in studio is Rodney Clara from Tough Stuff Recycling. Rodney, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about both Tough Stuff and how you got into this industry.
Well, that's a long story. I don't know if we have enough time for that, but I mean, I do it because I love it. So
Sure.
I got involved in waste management and waste, reducing waste and things like that for a couple nonprofits, Salvation Army and Goodwill. And in that, I learned that there are different product streams and product streams that can be recycled, textiles, things like that. Part of that was mattresses. So when I was in California, I worked with trying to reduce mattresses, getting them out of landfills and things like that. I moved to the East Coast and came into a company called Tough Stuff Recycling. And they asked me to come on board to help educate people how to recycle mattresses, municipalities, towns, and cities like that. And so that's how I kind of got into it. It's just been probably 20 years of recycling and waste reduction.
That's fantastic. And so Tough Stuff, well, new to Fitchburg is not a new company. Tell us a little bit about how Tough Stuff got started and a little bit about Mike. And
so, we have another facility in California where we recycle mattresses, and we figured we would come to Fitchburg because Massachusetts had a landfill ban, actually, and that's one of the very important thing is that back on November 1st, there was a ban that passed, and it banned mattresses from going to landfills. So you could no longer put your mattress curbside, you couldn't take it to a transfer station, and people were rejecting them left and right. And so we felt it was best to come into Massachusetts, set up a facility here, and start recycling mattresses.
Sure.
And we chose Fitchburg. We had a great facility. You were at our first facility when we first started. And you saw how small we were in the very beginning, and then you saw it again when we grew. And I really appreciate that you being there because you helped us really just bring this facility to the level of recycling where it's at now. We process well over 11,000 mattresses a month. Mike,
am I correct that this is the largest mattress recycling facility in New England?
It is, and we're going to even be larger. So we're going to have a whole shred operation coming in. It's going to make a really efficient process for recycling. I mean, I even brought some cool little props here. If you look at this is like, so for your viewers,
and this might be a first for us. I don't know that we've ever had props on the show, so I love this.
I get so excited about recycling that I like to bring props. So one of the things that for your viewers, a mattress is 75 to 80% recyclable. Yeah. And if you look at a mattress, the cool thing about it is, and I love like recycling stuff. So if you look into this, you have steel in the middle, right? So this is our steel here. We have cotton, which can be used as a mulch. It can be used as an absorbent. You have foam, you have toppers. And for y'all that don't know, foam and topper on a mattress actually gets made in a mattress, a carpet padding. So if you've ever looked under your carpet and you see that crazy little funky colored padding, that's the foam and the topper. So 75 or 80% of this gets recycled. Right now, and I did some really quick numbers, one mattress takes up 33 cubic feet of landfill space, which is, and you have a landfill here in Fitchburg, right? And you have to reduce what you put into it. So think of all of the space you're going to save by taking that mattress out and actually recycling everything.
That's right, and in Fitchburg, for folks who aren't aware, not only does Fitchburg and Westminster own and operate the landfill, but there is a life expectancy, and at some point, that landfill will fill up. And right now, the city actually makes money from receiving other municipalities' trash there. And at a certain point, that not only will we lose that revenue stream, when that plant closes, we'll have to then pay somebody else to take and receive our trash. So the longer we can expand the life expectancy of this landfill, and not just in Fitchburg, but in Massachusetts in total, because soon we'll have to pay other states to receive our trash and our refuse as we run out of space in landfills. So this is such critical work that you're doing. And I know the legislature took some critical action with the governor to really try to limit the use of landfill for mattresses, just realizing that there's a lot of wasted space in landfills dedicated to mattresses. So tell us a little bit about how the process is going, and I guess you said you see this expanding.
Yeah.
How do you see that operating as well?
I think there's another thing too. You were talking about the landfill space. I think one of the benefits for Fitchburg is we provide jobs. We went from, in the very beginning, having 5 to 10 employees to having well over 40 employees now. We're putting more trucks on the road to be able to go out and service your residents. Another great thing for Fitchburg residents is that they have a unique pricing option. So they can come in and bring their, right now there's, when you go to a recycler, and there are multiple recyclers, I think it's important to say that if you're outside of the Fitchburg area and you're not sure, go to your local town's website and ask, give them a call, find out where you could recycle. Because there are other recyclers. We're not the only recycler. And what I want to make sure is that mattresses get recycled.
That's right.
There's that people learn about it. And for Fitchburg residents, you all have a special price in Fitchburg. It's $25 a unit. Normally outside of Fitchburg, it's $30 to drop off at our facility. But we get to put people back to work, right? And what that does is, as we make our process more efficient and we bring in more machinery, we make that more a specialized process. So the employees that we're bringing in are going to be able to learn more skill sets. Like I say, we're putting more trucks on the road. And another good point is, what you mentioned, is that if and when the landfill closes down, is that you have to ship all of that trash out. That's a huge carbon footprint, right? And those trucks are going through your town all the time. So there's a lot of benefit to recycling of this. And again, to be able to take something like this, instead of just landfilling it and recycling it, it's amazing. I mean, I get so excited every time I see, something like, this is our cotton, right? Yeah. This is what you can actually reuse.
Sure.
Wood. This is the wood that's inside a box spring. That can go in and go into a mulch. Can actually we use it for mulch, we use it for horse bedding. And then the steel. I mean, we can take steel and reuse it for all kinds of other things.
Absolutely.
It's just like an aluminum can, just like a bottle. We've just taken that system and made it more efficient.
It's absolutely incredible, and to hear that the plant in Fitchburg could be one of the largest in the entire country in the near future. It's really just incredible work, and there's so few folks who have the technology and the capacity to be able to do what you're doing, and to know it's being done right here in Fitchburg, and to see how large you've scaled up too. The first time I was there, to see your workforce, and every time I'm there, they're smiling, they're happy, they're engaging, and it's been really exciting to see. So kudos to you and your entire team for really just embracing, in a challenging workforce environment. We just last episode we just had Jeff from the workforce board of North Central and Mass Hire in talking about some of the challenges. But you guys have been great at bringing in new folks and training them up, and bringing, in some cases, new folks to North Central who had been out in California.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of we had, I think, when we mentioned it when we had our second grand opening, to kind of show you how the facility had grown and how we had filled up the facility. We had a couple people come from California. It was their first winter.
That's right.
So I've endured a winter here and there, but let me tell you something. It's still amazing. And again, this is one facility that we're going to put into Massachusetts. We're looking to put another one in eventually because of the demand.
Sure.
There are 600,000 mattresses a year in Massachusetts alone that people generate when they go out and they buy mattresses. Say that number one more time. 600,000 mattresses. So think of 600,000 mattresses. I think I wrote the number down, and I think I had a number in my book, and that is a total of 5,280,000 cubic feet of space. I mean, I can't even wrap my head around that.
Neither can I.
All I know is I look at it from this point of view that a tractor trailer that you see on the road driving down, that can only hold 120 mattresses. So think of that many mattresses inside all of those trailers. That's how much space you save in your landfill.
Well, and I think about how long it must take for a mattress to decompose naturally, as opposed to recycling, 75, 80% of a mattress and fully processing the mattress. And, you're really not only making the most out of the space, but getting a lot of this material back into the industrial stream once again.
The crazy thing about a mattress is that when you landfill it, it's like a bubble. It's like an air bubble. It wants to pop back up. It literally, they'll roll over it with the tractor, but what will happen is just it keeps moving back up. So no matter, and what they do is they put another layer. So what they'll do is on the landfill, they'll fill everything in. You drop your trash, they put dirt over it, they roll over it, and then they put their trash on the next day. But the problem is every time you roll that tractor over it, this acts like a bubble and it wants to pop back up again. So at the end of the day, the mattress just pops up and it breaks that surface again. So it's really bad to landfill. So again, I just want to say that, you know, you have been really great in helping us, you know, with our facility and being there and supporting us. And we are here to really support Fitchburg. We're here to support Massachusetts. And we want to make sure that, and I'm still learning how to say a lot of your town's names because I sometimes mess that up. But we're hoping to be able to be that solution that you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you've just been such a wonderful addition to Fitchburg and the North Central economy. Thrilled to have you here. And again, to folks, you know, we have a couple more minutes here with you in studio. Can you talk again a little bit about, you know, if I'm renting an apartment in Fitchburg, or I'm a homeowner, don't have access to a truck, can't bring the mattress directly to you at your facility, which is an option, correct?
That's correct.
But how else would I arrange
question.
for that pickup?
So we have curbside availability. So what you would do is you'll go to toughstuffrecycling.com, and that's spelled T-O-U-G-H. People like to say T-U-F-F. You go on there, and we actually have a portal. So you can go into that portal, you will put your information in there, and it will allow you to pay online, and we will send a truck out to your house, and we'll pick up that mattress and box spring within a couple days.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And we have a special price, again, that we offer to the city, you know, to the residents. It's $45. We're normally at $65, so that's per piece, and we can drive out. If you want, you can bring your unit to our facility, and we can recycle it there. And again, we give you a discounted price of $25 for Fitchburg residents.
And remind folks, I know you're right in West Fitchburg. Remind folks what your address is.
145 Authority Drive.
Fantastic.
Fitchburg.
That's great. Well, you know, Rodney, again, I can't thank you enough for everything you're doing in Fitchburg, but also for Fitchburg. You're helping to keep the streets cleaner, and you're helping to save our tax dollars long term. So
and educate people. I love it. I love showing people recycling.
And thanks for the props in the studio too. This is great for. So Rodney, again, thank you to you and the entire Tough Stuff team, and to our folks tuning in. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Joining us will be we have James Bunnell from the Fitchburg Recreation Department. We'll be right back. And we're back. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now we have in studio our guest, James Bunnell, who is the Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Fitchburg. I want to say brand new, but fairly new in this role, right?
Yeah, I'm 7 months old. Thank you very much for having me on your show. I'm excited to, you know, share a little bit about myself and a little bit of the direction that you know, the Parks and Recreation Department is headed.
Well, it's fantastic to have you on board and to welcome you to the city of Fitchburg, and I really think you've hit the ground running. But tell folks a little bit about, you know, who you are and how you got started in this industry.
Sure. So I grew up in Leominster, so don't hold that against me.
All right, we'll try not to. Yeah.
I'm a graduate of St. Bernard's, and I've graduated twice, once from Fitchburg State College and then when it became Fitchburg State University. So pretty much the majority of my life I've been in and around the city of Fitchburg. My previous career, I was in education. I was the director of athletics for a couple different school districts around the state. And that's a huge commitment with a family, with a growing family, and needed a new challenge and something a little bit different. And where being a director of athletics, it kind of translates very well over to recreations and parks, where you're managing
Absolutely.
athletic facilities and doing recreational activities in and around. So it was a natural transition. I'm very excited to be here in the city. I feel there's a lot of potential for growth. The city is changed so much since I went to school here, and it's continuing to progress forward. You see all the wonderful things that are happening, and to be a part of that I'm very excited.
Well, we're excited to have you too. It's clear you've got a lot of energy and passion, and I'm excited too. You've got some vision about where you'd like things to go as well. But 7 months on, tell us how's it going?
It's even though it's been 7 months, it's a lot. The city of Fitchburg has over 46 parks, and those go from anywhere the size of Coggeshall and Coolidge and Park Hill down to some of the small traffic islands fall under the Parks Department, and trying to bring those to a level that are not only usable but enjoyable to all members of the community and outside the community as well. Fitchburg has a lot to offer. We have a disc golf course. We have, a dog park. There are local communities around here that don't have things like that. We have a pool, 2 pools actually.
That's right.
We have splash park. We have field. There's just so much that's going on, that the potential to have going on. I just want to welcome not only, like I said, members of our own community, but people outside the community in to enjoy what I feel is a wonderful, changing, and growing city.
So, you just mentioned that just the sheer number of parks and the assets that we have, and I think Fitchburg has something that not only when compared to the surrounding communities, but really across the entire Commonwealth, we have a luxury of parks and recreational opportunities that nearly no other municipality has, and it's really huge opportunity there, and I think our residents see it and they get to enjoy it, but also big challenges there too, right? That's a lot to maintain. Tell us a little bit about that may be the lesser appreciated of the job, but you have to also focus on the maintenance and upgrades and enhancements to all of the facilities as well.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that too. So we right now currently the Fitchburg Parks Department has 4 full-time employees to manage 46 parks. That's a lot. Yeah. The guys are great. They work very hard. So, when those people call in that branches are down or that there might be trash in a park, they do their best on top of trying to maintain and stay, get the parks going and address all the concerns and phone calls that do come in. They do a very good job for what they have. There are some things where, I'm working with Massachusetts DCR. We're getting some nice trees planted this year, not only down in the downtown corridor, but also going to hopefully be in Coolidge and Park Hill. And I established the Adopt a Park program. So we have some different community organizations and just community members that have reached out and offered to help and maintain some of the daily little things of weeding, planting, putting down some mulch, and just taking care of some of the parks. So the community is now taking ownership of that. Another program that I kind of piloted with the McKay Campus School and the United Way, the youth venture group, is my junior park rangers. And they they adopted Green Street Mama Fitz playground.
Oh, that's amazing.
And they noticed there was a need for it. The majority of those kids live in that neighborhood, and they hated to see the graffiti, the trash, so they wanted to do something and get involved. And we had a great 2-day events. They did a presentation. It was awesome. And they're excited to not only be a part of it now, but something that they're able to hold as their own and bring it into the future too.
It's an amazing way to engage with just young people in the city and make them feel like not only is this your park, this is your city, and you can step up and take a leadership role and engage, and hopefully that's the first of many engagements with the city throughout their lifetime, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like a good cold. You want people to catch it. So you hope that people going by and see it on different shows that these kids are doing something. So someone like you and I, wow, if a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old is out there just going to pick up trash when they walk by, that's something that I can do.
That's exactly
and
it.
It's those little things that go a really long way that those kids are sending that message. That's huge.
Civic engagement and volunteerism, it really is infectious. And, I think, I think when we look back to some of the glory days of Fitchburg's past, right? That was a common element and a common theme of who Fitchburg was, and we hear folks often talk about, the civic engagement and the volunteerism, and I think that's what we're getting back, and we are starting now to see droves of young people who are getting involved and raising their hand and saying, how can I help? And doesn't always just have to be on a board or a commission, and those are always welcomed, but doing some of the maybe the less heralded things like picking up trash and scrubbing the graffiti, because that goes a long way into making a community and in a city your own. Right,
you're absolutely right. When you see the pictures of the past, on Facebook or on the internet, or the Historical Society puts out, or even my mother-in-law, she grew up in Fitchburg, so when they live with me and my wife, so when I go home and tell her the things that we're doing, she reminisces, it used to be like this, or this happened. So it's nice to hear, that's wonderful that this is coming back, or that's how it used to be, because it makes a community a community. When people come out together, like you said, it doesn't necessarily need to be on a board or commission, and that's wonderful.
That's right.
But those small things do really go a long way. I actually connected with Fitchburg State University, their honors program to help clean up Coolidge Pool House. They painted a mural on the side of it. I worked with their service learning group, and they actually, 5 students from Fitchburg State University helped gather information to update the Parks and Recreation website. So I'm trying to reach out to all over, local schools, local groups, because there's people that want to get involved, and it doesn't necessarily need to. You don't need to build the Eiffel Tower.
That's right.
You can do small things that are going to go a long way.
I love that you've not only tapped into Fitchburg's past and its history, but also engaging the future, and that's a lot of fun. And that passion for the work that you're doing is really evident, and I think it makes everybody else get excited, and that's why really thrilled to partner with you in your first few months of hey, what do you need? And you were not apologetic or hesitant whatsoever. You're like, I need money, and I need money to fix the soccer fields down at Coolidge Park, and so excited to work hand in hand with Senator Cronin to bring $75,000 as a state earmark from the budget directly for you to work on some of the soccer fields that for a long time have needed some TLC. Right?
Yeah, that was, and thank you again. That was great, and I didn't mean to be so straightforward. That money, it does go along. Can do a lot of things. And at Coolidge Park, it's used by our youth soccer group, and Coolidge, unless it's one of the baseball or softball fields, it's not fenced in.
Yeah.
And we have the lovely dog park there, and street hockey. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and youth soccer doesn't really have a space of their own. It's just an open field. So Commissioner Erickson and we had talked about how we can address and help youth soccer so that they can actually have hopefully an opportunity to try to grow grass and to make those fields as best as they possibly can, and enclosing an area for them large enough where they can have several fields and we can help maintain that area, I think will do a lot and go a long way, instead of having it wide open where people can cut across to, come in from every which way
tearing
and
up
use
the turf and
right, and no, to no fault of their own. I mean, you have an open space. The shortest distance from point A to B is a straight line. So rather than walk all the way around, if I can just go that way, it makes sense. So if we can designate a space and kind of fence in that area to give them, the best possible way to serve the youth in the soccer facility.
And I'm guessing the youth soccer are some of the largest of all of the sports leagues in the city. Is that correct?
They are. Yeah. Youth soccer is next to street hockey, but they have their designated rinks, is is the largest. I mean, football has their own space over at Nikitas Field.
Sure.
Baseball, softball, Little League baseball, and youth softball, they have their fenced-in fields, so they kind of have their own space. And soccer really doesn't, aside from Morin Field on the other side of Fitchburg, but at Coolidge where they do use it, you know, I'd love to give them, and with your help, I'm now able to do that, their own space.
Well, you're doing tremendous work, and beyond just maintaining and even upgrading some of the fields, I know that you have some visions about where you'd like to see Parks and Recreation go. Can you give folks a little sneak peek into, if everything goes right, what you'd like to accomplish over the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
Sure. A big thing, I want to bring programming to Fitchburg on not only a large part on the recreation side for not only little kids, but all the way up to adults and senior citizens. I also want to help improve the parks to make them more usable for different facilities and different activities that are popular, like pickleball is a big thing. I know hopefully in the near future this summer, we're going to be one of the 2 cities in Central Mass to have a national fitness campaign fitness park. So that's huge, where adults through children are able to scan a QR code and have basically do a circuit training.
Oh, that's amazing.
At Coolidge Park. So bringing that, that fitness piece and that outdoor activity piece where everybody was sheltered for so long in COVID, they want to come out, they want to be active and use those parks. So as much as I can do to offer different facets for them to participate in, that's my goal. And coming up, we do have our movies in the park and our concerts in the Common this summer. Concerts in the Common are going to be on Wednesday nights, 6 to 8. They're going to run from the 2nd week of July through the 3rd week of August. That information can be found on the Parks and Recreation website. Movies in the park right now are tentatively scheduled to be played at Crocker, and those are going to be on Thursday nights and run for 6 weeks. And both of those things are free to the public. So I want people to come out and enjoy them with their family, their friends, and not only enjoy what's the activity that's at hand, but the parks that they're happening in.
Wow. You've for 7 months, you've done the deep dive already, and you've really not only hit the ground running, but embraced some of the opportunities that lie ahead for you. And I'm excited to continue partnering with you. Just one last plug. You mentioned for youths looking to kind of engage, whether it's cleaning up their specific park or folks who want to adopt a park. How do they do that, and what's the best way to contact you?
Sure. They can reach out to me. My email is jbunnell@fitchburgma.gov. I'm sure they'll put it up. They can also contact my office. Adopt a Park, there's just a little packet that they fill out or complete, or even if we have somebody that is an Eagle Scout and they're doing a project of little libraries in the park. She reached out to me and we're getting them installed. So I love working with anybody that wants to help and contribute, or even if they have an idea, how can I help them make that idea come to a reality? Just got to reach out and ask the question, and it's not a bad thing. That, like I said, a little thing can go a very long way.
Absolutely. Well, James, thank you again. James Bunnell, Parks and Rec Director for the City of Fitchburg. Thank you so much for coming in studio to our viewers. Thank you again for tuning in this month. Thank you to FATV for always being such amazing hosts in this new and beautiful studio in downtown Fitchburg. To our viewers, thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next month. Take care.